Humans have been fighting mosquitoes for thousands of years, and for most of that time, the answer wasn't a spray can. It was 8 specific plants that ancient civilizations grew, placed, and passed down deliberately. One outperforms DEET. All of them are still available right now. The only thing that changed is who stopped telling you about them. Lavender, the purple border. Lavender has been used for centuries to keep moths, fleas, flies, and mosquitoes away from homes, beds, and clothing. The oils in its leaves and flowers, linalool and linallyl acetate, interfere with the way insects sense their environment. It does not make you invisible to bugs, but it makes you significantly harder to find. Most people plant one small pot in a corner and feel nothing. The plant is not the problem, placement is. A dense border along your path, beside your chair, or under your window changes the entire equation. That is the version people understood before bug spray existed. Dried lavender tucked into beds, hung near doors, and planted thick along outdoor edges was not decoration, it was function. The beauty was just a bonus. Plant it in full sun, keep it close to where you actually sit, and let the wind carry it towards you, not away. Most people never get past this one. But the real protection starts when you stack it with what's already sitting on your kitchen counter. Basil, the guardian you keep on your plate. Basil has been used across Asia, Africa, and the Mediterranean for thousands of years, not just as food, but as a plant people kept near doors, windows, and sleeping areas because of what it kept away. The oils inside its leaves, eugenol and estragol, are compounds that flies and mosquitoes actively avoid moving through. When the sun warms the leaves or the wind brushes past them, those oils lift into the surrounding air. Your body does not have to wear the barrier. The plant holds it for you. Most people grow one thin stem in a small indoor pot and never think twice about it. But one stem indoors does nothing for the space outside where you actually get bitten. 4 or 5 full plants grouped together near your back door, beside your grill, or under an open kitchen window. That is an entirely different plant doing an entirely different job. Before basil became a garnish, cultures across 3 continents kept it near entrances as a serious household protector. Families passed that habit down not because it sounded nice, but because removing the plant changed what showed up. Plant it in full sun, water it at the base, and let it grow full and bushy instead of clipping it down to nothing every week. You can still cook with it, just let it live and work first. You have been cooking with your pest control this whole time. The next one you have probably been pulling out of the ground like a weed and throwing away the one thing that actually works at ankle level. Mint. The creeping line. Mint is one of the oldest pest deterrent plants on Earth, used across ancient Greece, Egypt, and Rome to keep flies, ants, and mosquitoes away from food, homes, and storage areas. The menthol and pulegon compounds inside its leaves create a scent profile that many insects find disorienting. Flies avoid laying eggs near it, ants reroute their paths around it. Mosquitoes prefer to find a cleaner signal somewhere else entirely. Most people make the same error with mint that they make with every herb on this list. Small pot in a pretty spot, 0 results. Mint does not work like a candle in one corner. It works like a line drawn at the edge of your space. Plant it along pathways, beside steps, under outdoor seating, and around the base of doors. Every time someone brushes past it, the oils release right at ankle and knee level, exactly where bites start. The contact is not accidental, and the placement is not decorative. Mint spreads fast in open ground, so keep it in contained pots or raised beds if you want control. But do not let that stop you from planting it at all. One root division from a neighbor costs nothing and can fill an entire border by midsummer. Old households tucked fresh stems into windowsills, swept floors with mint-infused water, and kept bundles near food storage. Not precious, practical. That handles the ground. Now we go up to a flower so ordinary it ends up in trash bins every November, carrying a compound the pest control industry spent millions trying to replicate. Chrysanthemums, the flower with a secret. Most people buy chrysanthemums in autumn, line their porch with them for a few weeks, and throw them away when the season ends. They never find out what was living inside those petals the whole time. Chrysanthemums contain pyrethrin, a natural compound that acts as a neurotoxin to insects but breaks down quickly and is considered safe around people and animals. It does not just repel insects, it disrupts their nervous system on contact. The pest control industry has been extracting and synthesizing this compound for decades, putting it into commercial sprays and treatments sold at hardware stores across the country. The plant that produces it has been sitting in garden centers for $4 the whole time. Ticks, fleas, ants, Japanese beetles, and mosquitoes all respond to pyrethrin. One flower, one broad shield, one pot on your porch. Older farming communities planted chrysanthemums at the edges of fields and gardens for protection, not color. They understood that certain flowers changed what chose to live nearby. That knowledge got replaced by the bottle version, and the plant got reassigned to seasonal decoration. Grow them in full sun along yard borders, near vegetable beds, or beside seating areas. Let them bloom fully, compound concentration peaks at full bloom. Do not deadhead them too early. The pest control industry has known about this plant for decades. If that sits a little sideways with you, a like takes 1 second and it helps more people find plants instead of products. You already know what comes next by smell. You have bought it in a jar, a candle, a spray bottle. You have just never seen what it looks like alive, and that gap is not a coincidence. Citronella grass, the living candle. You already know this smell. It is on every candle label, every outdoor spray bottle, and every natural repellent at the checkout counter. But most people have never seen the actual plant, and that gap is not an accident. Citronella grass grows in tall, arching clumps with long, narrow blades that release a sharp, clean lemon scent the moment wind or hands touch them. The oils, citronellal and geraniol, are the same compounds extracted for commercial repellents. In the living plant, those oils renew continuously through sun and air all day long, without a bottle, a label, or a price tag. A single citronella candle tries to cover your entire yard from one small flame. A row of this grass planted where the evening breeze moves towards your seating area does that work naturally, hour after hour, across an entire season. In warmer regions across Asia and Central America, citronella and related lemongrasses were planted around homes, cooking fires, and gathering spaces for generations. Dried bundles were burned at dusk the same way you might light a candle today, except the plant cost nothing because it was already growing at the edge of the yard, planted in large pots or directly in the ground in a sunny spot. In colder climates, bring the pot inside before frost and divide the clump in spring to multiply it for free. 1 plant becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and within 1 season you have a full living border that comes back every year on its own. That one works through air. The next one works through touch, and it outperformed the most widely used synthetic repellent in American history in a university lab. Researchers did not expect what they found: catnip, the plant that beat DEET. Most people grow catnip as a joke, watch their cat lose its mind in the dirt, and never think about it again. That is a significant oversight, and researchers at Iowa State University accidentally proved why. A study found that nepetalactone, the active oil in catnip, was more effective as a spatial repellent against mosquitoes than DEET under certain controlled conditions. Not marginally more effective, significantly more. The same compound that sends your cat rolling in the garden sends mosquitoes in the opposite direction entirely. DEET has been the commercial standard since the 1940s, developed by the United States Army and found in nearly every major repellent brand on the market. A $3 backyard plant outperformed it in a university lab, and that finding never became a headline because there is no profit in telling people to grow a weed. Older herbal traditions used catnip in teas to ease restlessness and calm the nervous system, especially in children. It was a dual-purpose plant that earned its place in the household by doing more than one job, which is exactly how people chose their plants before. Single-use products existed. Grow it in containers to control its spread, or let it naturalize along a fence line where it can work across a wider area. Brush the leaves as you walk past and the oils release directly into the air around you. Your cat's enthusiasm for it is not confusion. They know something worth knowing. Now you know about the one that beat DEET. What comes next looks almost identical to something purely decorative, but older households rubbed its leaves directly onto their skin before going. Outside, no measuring required. Scented geraniums, the citronella you can touch. Most people picture geraniums as the bright red flowers in window boxes outside restaurants and storefronts. Scented geraniums are a completely different plant, and the distance between how available they are and how few people use them intentionally is one of the more frustrating gaps in modern plant knowledge. The leaves of scented geraniums, depending on the variety, carry a fragrance nearly identical to citronella. The same oils that mosquitoes and flies avoid in citronella grass live inside these softer, lower, more touchable leaves. Because they grow closer to the ground, they reach your hands and arms rather than the air above your head. Before window boxes became purely decorative, scented geraniums were kept near doors and on outdoor tables so that anyone moving through the space would brush the leaves and release their oils naturally. The placement was deliberate. People understood that a plant activated by touch does more than a plant simply standing still. Older households rubbed the leaves directly onto arms and legs before spending time outside. No measuring, no mixing, no waiting for a product to dry. Just a leaf from a pot within arm's reach. Grow them in pots. You can move precisely where you need them. Beside your chair, along your railing, on your outdoor table. Pinch the leaves regularly to keep the plant full and the oils at their strongest. In colder climates, they overwinter indoors and return outside in spring, the same plant, year after year, getting larger every season. Every plant so far works best in open air. The last one on this list is the only one that gets stronger the moment fire enters the picture, which means every grill night you have ever had was missing something. Rosemary, the fire herb. Rosemary is the only plant on this list that intensifies with heat. Every other herb works through proximity. You plant it, the air moves, the scent spreads. Rosemary does all of that and then multiplies its effect the moment a flame enters the picture. Camphor and several other aromatic oils in rosemary become more volatile when heated, meaning the smoke from a few branches on hot coals carries a concentrated version of the same scent that already deters flies and mosquitoes in open air. A small handful of sprigs on a grill at dusk can shift the atmosphere around an entire outdoor gathering within minutes. Medieval European households burned rosemary indoors during illness, kept it near food stores to deter insects, and planted it at entrances as a boundary, practical and spiritual at once. It held that role in the Western world for over 1,000 years, until the spice trade dried it, bottled it, and reduced it to something you shake over roasted potatoes without a second thought. Grow it in full sun near your cooking area so it is always within reach when you need it. Rosemary becomes a full shrub over several years and asks almost nothing from you once established. No fussing, no replanting, no replacing. When the grill goes on, lay 2 or 3 fresh branches directly on the coals and let the smoke move across your table before anyone sits down. 8 plants. Centuries of use. Now here is how you pull 5 of them together into one spray you can make in your kitchen in 10 minutes. No lab. No label, no guesswork. How to make your own bug spray. 10 minutes, no lab. You have just met 8 plants that people used for centuries before anyone put repellent in a can. Knowing about them and actually using them are 2 different things. So here is how you bring 5 of them together into one simple spray you can make in your own kitchen today. You will need fresh or dried lavender, basil, mint, rosemary, and citronella grass. Lemongrass works as a direct substitute if citronella is hard to find. All 5 are available at most garden centers or grocery stores for a few dollars combined. What you need: 2 cups of water, a small handful of each herb. Fresh is stronger, dried works fine, a small pot, a clean spray bottle optional. 10 drops of citronella or lavender's essential oil to strengthen it. How to make it: bring 2 cups of water to a boil, drop all 5 herbs in together, then reduce the heat and steep for 20 to 30 minutes, the same way you would make a strong tea. Let it cool completely. Strain out all plant material, pour into your spray bottle, add essential oil if using, and refrigerate. It stays good for about 1 week. Apply it to arms, legs, and clothing before going outside and reapply every hour or 2 as the scent fades. If your skin runs sensitive, test a small area first before applying it widely. Your grandmother did not have a spray bottle. She had a garden, a pot of boiling water, and knowledge that got passed down through generations, until someone decided a pressurized can was more convenient. You just got that knowledge back. Of these 8 plants, drop your answer in the comments. Are you a lavender person, a catnip person, or are you going straight for the one that beat DEET? If you want the next plant guide before anyone else sees it, subscribe now, because we are just getting started.